Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this week's weekly live immigration attorney chat here at Immigration for Couples. I'm attorney Megan Pastrana, and I'm happy to be with all of you here today. I already see a lot of individuals who are our regulars who join us every week, and then I also see some new faces or new names here. So again, welcome. And I'd like to always start by letting you know about our free resource center. So if you are new here, welcome. Immigration for Couples, our firm is dedicated exclusively to helping couples across the nation and across the world in navigating the U.S. immigration process. And we know that the immigration journey can be overwhelming. And that is why we created a free resource center to give you clarity and support in your journey. And so that free resource center, you'll see the website below. It's at immigrationforcouples.com. There's a really great webinar that I've created with a lot of time and care and consideration for all of you who are just starting out specifically. And in that webinar, I will walk through the different options that are available to you as couples, how to prove your relationship, and how to not just survive the immigration journey, but to thrive. So please check that out. And there's also, I think our most popular resource is probably the relationship evidence guide. Because a lot of couples, I know it's overwhelming and it's very invasive to have immigration be digging in to your personal life and deciding whether or not they think your love is real. And all of that can be found again at immigrationforcouples.com. So I know for those of you who have joined us have been joining us rather on a weekly basis, you know that I like to ask where you're at in the world. So I already have some individuals telling me where they are in the world. And I am streaming this live on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. And so if you have questions, you can throw them wherever in the comment section of wherever you're watching, and I will answer the questions in the order that I receive them. And I will keep an eye on Instagram. That's the only one that doesn't come through on here, but I will see the questions even if you're watching on Instagram. So let's see, who do we have with us and where are you at in the world? So Sharon, you're in Tucson. Great to have you back with us. I know you've joined for other lives, so great to have you. All right. And then Delaney, great. You're in Colorado, such a beautiful place. All right. So we have someone from Colorado. You petitioned for your wife, lives in Honduras. So we have someone from Honduras. And Wilfredo, I do see your question. And I will get to the questions here momentarily. And let's see. Oh, that's so fun, Ginger. I know you've been in Tennessee with your boyfriend, so that is awesome. And you went to your first basketball game. I'm glad you're both having a lot of fun together. Where else? Where else are you in the world? So Wichita, Kansas. Welcome. Great to have you with us. Good morning. Philippines. Welcome. Carla, great to have you. And good morning to you as well, Mohammed. And good morning to you too. Oh, well, thank you for asking, Sharon. I'm doing well. It's a nice sunny day. I went on a walk this morning with the puppies. Yeah, and it's been a good day so far. We've had a lot of really great success stories for our clients this week. So a really good day. And actually, how are all of you doing? I'd love to see, in addition to where you are in the world, where are you, or rather, how are you feeling about your immigration journey? If you had to just pick one word, what would that one word be that describes how you are feeling about your immigration process? Maybe happy, maybe you recently had an approval, maybe you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed. What is that feeling that you have right now about your immigration journey? If you can throw that in the chat too. Yeah, anxious. Yes, that is a really common feeling in the immigration journey. The unknown can make that happen to you, especially in an immigration process, but you're definitely not alone in that feeling. How is everyone else doing? And I want to check here on Instagram. All right. Yeah, frustrated and anxious for sure. That is definitely, yes, common. Anybody, and if anybody else, just keep throwing that in there. If we have individuals who are joining, how are you feeling about your immigration process, and where are you at in the world? So the immigration process, I went through an immigration process personally with my husband. So I speak from personal experience along with my decades of practicing immigration law and helping thousands of couples. I know there's all kinds of feelings that are going to arise in the immigration journey. It's really a parallel to life itself. We will feel the whole spectrum of emotions from sadness to anger to overwhelm and stress to elation to happiness when you get to the finish line. Um, I love this. Yes, Robert, that's such a great one word: patience and confidence. Oh, since since you have us representing you. Patience is a great thing to have in your immigration journey. The process definitely will test your patience, but I will say if you look at the immigration journey as a parallel to life itself, it it is a long process. It is a stressful process, but that is life, the roller coaster of life, the ups and downs. If you see it as a journey that you're taking with your significant other, you're doing this together side by side, you will come out more resilient. That doesn't mean that if feelings of anger and anxiousness and fear, if all of those feelings arise, those are natural human feelings. You're not going to be able to stuff them or push them away. You need to move them through your body. So that can be different for everyone. I like to go on walks. I like to dance. Dancing is a good way to get those some of those feelings like anxiety and frustration out. Acknowledge that they're there. Don't try to stuff them, but and also focus on gratitude. Like when these feelings arise, do focus on gratitude for the things that you have in your life. We all have something we can be grateful for. If you're going through an immigration process as a couple, that means you have someone in your life that you have found that you love very much and that you want to do life with. So you can focus on the gratitude for your relationship. Holding dualities, you're not going to be able to completely get rid of that anxiety and fear and frustration, right? That will be there and be present, but allow that gratitude to be there as well. So that's great, Robert. Thank you for sharing that. Patience is such a good thing to have. Yep. Not angry. That's good. You don't have anger. You just want it to do it right and not give the State Department any excuses. I agree. That makes perfect sense. Definitely wanting to be meticulous and not give immigration any reasons to deny the case. Yes. All right. So I'm going to dive into the questions here. We have a lot of great questions. And I think it looks like, okay. So Terry, great to have you with us. Yes. And you're just recapping that your husband is in Morocco and you're finishing up his visa process today. Roughly after we file, how long would it be for him to get an interview? So if you're going through a spouse visa process, to give education for everyone, to give a little bit of an overview of that process, the very first step is a petition that you file. In that petition, you're proving that you have a real relationship based on love. That petition is filed with USCIS. Currently, it's taking an estimated processing time of about 12 months, give or take. And then from there, the file moves on to the National Visa Center. The National Visa Center has really sped up. It was during COVID, taking much longer, many months for them to review documents. But now we have seen that the National Visa Center is really able to review and approve documents in a matter of a few weeks, typically under a month. And then from there, a person is put in line for an interview. And so that's what you're asking about, is how long is it going to take to receive that interview? And so the interview is going to be very dependent. I'm sure for those of you who have been coming every week, you've heard me say this many times. When the interview will be scheduled depends in large part on that country of origin, the country where the immigrant beneficiary lives, or the country of which he or she is a citizen. And so every country, even though it's all US immigration, has a different wait time based on capacity and volume at that particular post. And so for our clients in Morocco, we're seeing around a 6 to 8 month wait for the interview, give or take. Again, everything in immigration is estimates. There are some embassies like Ciudad Juarez in Mexico that you're looking at least a year for an interview. So yes, that's kind of a rough estimate. I usually tell couples when I meet with them, obviously I take into consideration that country of origin or where that person is living to give an estimate. But on average, most spouse visas are going to take at least 18 months from the very first step through getting that visa. So Great to have you with us, though, Terry. I hope that that was helpful and clear. All right. So, Delaney, I know you said you are from Colorado and that your husband filed for a work permit. So, that's a 765 7 months ago. And the I-765 is being actively reviewed since June. I submitted an online service request last week. What's next? When should we reach back out again? So, it depends on the basis for that work permit. So if the work permit is based on a pending adjustment application for marriage, typically the wait time we have seen is about 4 to 6 months for our clients. If it says actively reviewed, that can mean it's actually on an officer's desk, or it can just mean that you're in the queue. So it's going to really depend on the category of that work permit. There's all kinds of different categories to receive a work permit. You can get a work permit through asylum. You can get a work permit through that adjustment case. You can get a work permit through parole. So that category is going to determine that wait time. So it sounds like you've been looking at the online processing times tool. And if your case is taking longer than the estimated processing time, you can put in an inquiry. So you did the right thing. That's fantastic that you made that request. Typically, it does take them about 30 days to respond, 30 to 60 days to respond. And don't be disheartened if they come back and say, your case is being actively reviewed, but we can't give an estimate on how long it's going to take us. So hopefully you get a decision soon. Once they've responded to your request, you can make another one. You can always try to make another one now. You can try calling the USCIS customer service number. It's not really customer service and it's hard to get past the robots, but you can always try to make another inquiry. The system will tell you no if you're not allowed to, if they already have one in process. But hopefully you'll get a decision here soon. You did the right thing though, so that's good. And all right. All right. So Wilfredo, and good morning to you as well. Your spouse visa case has been documentarily qualified since 8/7/2024. So that's exciting. Congratulations. We'll celebrate you here. Currently, you're waiting on the U.S. Embassy at Honduras for an interview date. Any idea how long this takes the embassy to respond? So we have a lot of clients actually from Honduras, and we're seeing about a 6 to 8 month wait time, give or take, for interviews. So you just were documentarily qualified. It's definitely possible to have an interview much sooner than the 6 to 8 months, but that's kind of the estimate that we're seeing, and we've definitely had individuals get an interview sooner than that. But that's kind of what I would plan on. But that's awesome that you're documentarily qualified. You're getting closer. So best of luck. Okay, who's next here? So Moon, you said your fiance and I are about to get married in the U.S. She's been here on a visit for almost 5 months now, and we waited the 90-day rule. Is it safe to get married and then apply for a marriage-based green card? So, Moon, that's a really great question. I'm glad you're asking. You definitely need to speak with an immigration attorney before filing. I'd be happy to speak with you both. You can call the office or you can schedule on our website. So I'll put that back up for you to have. There's the website, there's the phone number. So, and we can talk in private. This is definitely something that we would need to discuss in private for me to conclusively tell you that it's safe or not. And to give everyone a little bit of education about what you're asking about, is immigration has an option called adjustment of status. Adjustment of status is available only to certain individuals, and it's available to individuals who are currently living and residing in the United States and who entered with inspection, with documentation, like a tourist visa, for example. Now, adjustment of status has a very strict rule that you can't have entered the United States on your tourist visa with the intention to stay here, live here, and get married. And I know a lot of people will ask, but well, how will they know? Yeah, that's a good question, because intention is all about what's in your mind. So how is immigration, going to read your mind and know what your intention was? They look at something called circumstantial evidence. So they look at all of the circumstances surrounding your entry into the United States. One circumstance is if you're already in a relationship, if you've been dating for a long time, if you were already engaged, immigration is going to say, hey, this relationship existed before your entry. And they could consider that a circumstance showing your intention to come here and live. It's very, very fact specific as to who can apply for the adjustment of status. It's definitely possible if you've entered on a tourist visa, and immigration has something called a 90-day rule. So this rule is not a law. It is a guideline. It's a guidepost for the immigration officers who are reviewing cases. Immigration used to have something called a 30, 60, 90-day rule. So they would look at if it happened, if you got married and filed adjustment in 30 days, you definitely had that intention. 60 days, it's likely. After 90 days, it was less likely. That's how it used to be. And then immigration moved to a 90-day rule, and it's more rigid. It's more strict than that 30, 60, 90. And so if it happens that you were to get married and file for adjustment of status after the 90 days, it's better than filing before, but it doesn't mean that you're automatically going to be safe, that immigration isn't going to look at your intention. So it breaks my heart when I've seen couples who, have read online or heard, oh, as long as you wait after 90 days, you'll be safe. And then they have actually, they've filed after the 90 days, and then they've gone to an interview and had an immigration officer give them a really hard time about intention, and then deny the case, saying they have to apply for a waiver of forgiveness for misusing this visa. So that's all education. I'm not saying, Moon, that will be your situation. Again, it's going to be very fact specific on whether or not you're eligible for adjustment of status. We've helped hundreds and hundreds of couples successfully complete adjustment of status, and I'd be happy to speak with you both privately, and we can walk through whether or not that's possible and safe and the best path for you both. All right. So thank you for the question, because there's so many rumors out there. And so much misinformation about the 90-day rule. And so I'm glad you asked this question so others can, learn about this as well and get some clarity. All right. Okay. Yeah. So good morning to you as well. Is it possible to extend the validity of a spouse visa? It will expire this February. You're very welcome. I love what I do. It's my pleasure to be here with you. So if you are living abroad still, if you have not entered on the spouse visa, it's really important to enter the United States before February, if at all possible. When you receive a spouse visa, so a spouse visa or a family visa, an IR1, CR1, those types of visas, you have to actually enter the United States to complete the process. And that visa essentially converts into your green card upon entry. So it's very important to enter the United States before February if you haven't done that. If you've already come to the United States with your visa and they put a stamp in there called an I-551 stamp, and they would write a date of how long that stamp is valid. It's good for a year. And that stamp plus the visa is your temporary proof that you are a lawful permanent resident or a green card holder. And basically, that visa allows you to start working and living your life and even travel internationally while you wait for your green card to arrive. So my advice is, if you have not entered, please do so before February. If there are extenuating circumstances and you absolutely cannot enter before February, then you need to start taking actions and proactive steps to reach out to the embassy. It's up to their discretion if they want to extend it. Typically they don't want to extend it. So it's really important to enter the US before. And again, this is something where if you want to schedule a private consultation with me, you can call the number below, or you can go to the website, and I'd be happy to look at your visa and talk about, options for your situation. All right. Yeah. Okay. This is a really good question. So will it be a red flag to USCIS if a petitioner filed for someone before and then withdrew the application? So immigration has a very long, it's a super long list of red flags. Red flags are what they will look at if they think, hey, this is a red flag that this relationship might not be real, or it might be suspect. So one of those red flags is filing for someone before. And immigration will definitely look at that prior application and that prior relationship and really scrutinize your next application more because of that. Can you still get through the process? Absolutely. Do you need to be very strategic before you file any other petition? Absolutely. We've helped couples that have filed for others before still be able to get through the process successfully. But yes, it definitely is a red flag. So great question. All right. Oh, yes. And good morning. I saw that you had put that comment. Good morning as well, Robert. All right. So, Sheila, good morning to you. All right. Okay. So, when using my home as an asset for the income requirement on the I-864, is it necessary to get a professional appraisal or is a property tax statement sufficient? Uh, a, a professional appraisal is what I have my clients obtain less than a year old. It's very important to get that. And also, it's important to understand that when you're using a home for assets, you can only count the equity in the home. So, if there were a mortgage or a loan still on the property, then that appraisal value minus what is still outstanding and owed on that property would be subtracted for you to arrive at your equity. All right. So let's see who we have next. And I do want to check on my friends and folks here on Instagram. So good. We have a couple people joining. Welcome. You're welcome to ask questions as well in the comments. I have to have a second screen to check on your questions. Specifically, everybody else's comes through my queue. All right. So Mudarsar, you're asking how much time USCIS takes to send an approved petition to the NVC. So typically around 30 to 60 days. It depends if it's a fiance visa petition or if it's a spouse visa petition. We've seen that with the spouse visa petitions that they are being sent typically in 30 days or less. Sometimes they can take longer. And then with the fiance visa, because they're actually transferring the file, there isn't an online NVC process like the spouse visa. It can take closer to 60 days sometimes. Oh, yay. It's so lovely to see you. And I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited for later today as well. Yeah, and congratulations. Super. Oh, and this is one of those questions that I get hidden behind. Yes, congratulations. We all need to, everybody can celebrate you, put in congrats and all kinds of things. Unfortunately, I'm not on Zoom, so I can't use all the fun features for celebrating. But yes, congratulations. You've been very patiently waiting. So that's awesome. And that only some constants only take IRS transcripts. I logged onto the IRS website afterwards and see they haven't received any of the few year taxes that I personally mailed. Oh, brother. Yeah, copies. Yeah, Canada, the post in Canada is fine with receiving. I've never had them give pushback as long as we have a 1040 tax form. But it's good that you did that, and now you can talk with an accountant about getting that resolved. But that's good. That's good. You have that you filed your taxes. You did what was needed to file the taxes. If the transcripts didn't show up, that's okay. Don't panic. All right. Yeah, and I will see you later today. Awesome. All right. Okay, so you're wanting a breakdown of the fee. So, and there's a different fee if you're filing by paper and a different fee for filing online. We, in large part here at our firm, still file things by paper because the online system is quite glitchy. That doesn't mean you can't. That's okay. They're moving towards, there are some things that we do file online. So just know that that fee will be different depending. And then the breakdown is that's the fee. That's the fee for the petition. That's what it costs when you're filing. And it's what immigration is determined is the needed fee for their administrative work. Now, if you are filing other applications, there are separate fees for every application. So just be aware of that as well. Okay. So you're from Ethiopia and you've been waiting for an interview since December of 2023. How long will it take for my interview? At least a year. At least a year. So our clients from Ethiopia, we're looking at a solid year, oftentimes a little bit more than that. The good news is that you were documentarily qualified in December, so you're getting close to that year mark. And it's not going to be exactly 1 year, but we see about 12 to 18 months for our clients from Ethiopia. So You're getting closer. Best of luck. All right. Oh, and Wilfredo, you're saying you're from New Jersey. That's awesome. All right. And then, so good morning to you as well. You have a question about documents submitted for interviews. So I'm not sure if let me see if you have another part to your question. You're expecting that, oh, and I see you have put in, let's see. Good morning. Let's see. You say that she's in Manila and you're hoping that she'll get an interview in December is what I can see. I was just looking through to see if you had other parts. So if you're asking about what documents maybe, yeah. So if you're asking about documents, every embassy and consular post is different. You will have, if it's for a spouse visa, you would have gone through the SIAC process, through the online process with the National Visa Center and uploaded documentation. And then the documents that are required are going to be very dependent on your particular case. So for example, if there were prior marriages, certified divorce decrees are required. You need to make sure you have the correct version of the birth certificate for that country, police background checks from anywhere the person has lived for more than 6 months. So those are just a few of the items. There's a long list of documentation that you'll need, and it will be very fact specific on that particular case. If you don't already have an attorney and you're wanting more customized personal guidance in your process, please feel free to schedule an appointment and we can talk about your personal case. All right. But you can also just check that interview notice in the National Visa Center portal. Okay, let's see who's next. So Samad, you said your wife is an asylee, and she lives in the US and she filed her form. How long? So we do practice family or couple-based immigration. We don't work in the realm of asylum and asylum cases. When the NVC will create a case number, though, I can answer that question. I can't tell you exactly when, but it's very similar to really any immigration process that has to go through the National Visa Center. Typically, it'll take them 30 to 60 days, but depending on the facts, it can take longer. You can always reach out to them and make an inquiry through their inquiry portal. So if it was approved August 3rd, and in August 13th, it said that it sent it to the State Department. So yeah, you can reach out to the National Visa Center. If you have an attorney, he or she would be able to assist you with that as well. All right, so we have someone from South Carolina and Pakistan. Yes, you're welcome. All right, Nigeria. Oh, it's great to have you with us, Fumilayo. Awesome. All right. Let's see if I have a couple more minutes. I can do a few more questions. I agree with you. We need a lot. We need a lot of reforms. A lot needs to be fixed in immigration. I will definitely agree with you. Okay. Let's see. So your spouse visa, your priority date is October 14th, and you're still waiting. People who filed us that have been approved. When would we? Yes. I always say comparing wait times is with other couples' cases is like comparing apples to oranges, even when the case is the same type of case, a spouse visa case, for example, or fiance visa. There's a lot of different variables and a lot of different factors that go into why one case that was filed after would get approved before. Some of that has to do with just the mailroom at immigration. They receive tons of applications and scan them in, and it depends on who scanned it in and the officer that was assigned to the case, and also the service center. The service center is big. There are, others who may have filed because of where they live, they had a different service center, or because of volume at the time, they had a different service center, and the processing time is different. The good thing is you filed in October. You have that priority date in October. On average, we're seeing it does take about 12 months. I can't ever, guarantee. I don't have a crystal ball to tell you definitively, but I would say probably before the end of the year, you would have a decision. So, but you're getting close. You definitely are getting close. Wait times are about, like I said, 12 months. Sometimes, give or take, we'll have some that'll come in much sooner and some that take a little longer. So, Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're feeling sad. Hubby is missing our little girl growing. Oh gosh, I know that's heartbreaking. And babies, yeah, they do grow very fast. But patience and open communication is key. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. And we are all sending you prayers and positive vibes that you'll be able to be together soon. I know that's so hard. Okay. So, if your visa is approved for a spouse visa or a CR1 visa, the next step is traveling to the United States. That completes the process, as I was talking about earlier in the show. Um, and then after that, you'll file removal of conditions and possibly citizenship. That's, the path if you are wanting to go from permanent resident status to US citizenship. I really encourage you check out the website, the free resource center that's at the link below, immigrationforcouples.com. And I can post it in the comments here as well to make it easier for you after the show. But basically, on our free resource center, I break down all of the different options that are available to couples. And then I also have resources for the removal of conditions and citizenship so you understand what's coming. All right. Great to have you with us. Okay. So Raj, you're saying that you got married under 90 days on the fiance visa, but your wife is no longer wanting to move forward with the process after divorce. Do you have a right to live here or not? So that really depends on where you're at in the process and the specifics. I'm really sorry to hear about your relationship. If your wife is, if you have both decided to part ways, then you definitely will want to talk with an immigration attorney about options. I can't say definitively without knowing, the specifics of your situation and more details about your relationship. Sometimes there are still options and sometimes there aren't options. So it really just is going to depend on where you are in the process in your specific situation. But I'm really sorry to hear that. Um, but yeah, definitely talk with an immigration attorney. Okay, so let's see. It looks like Rusty, it looks like your question is in two parts. So let me see if I can find all the parts. If a policy is changed with a new president and you've already filed in February 2024, for example, well, I have to comply with the new policy. For example, credit reports required if Trump is elected. Yeah. So there are laws and then there are the policies that are involved with an immigration process. And so if you have already filed your case, if it has not been approved, then any policy changes that happen after are typically going to be retroactive. They would apply to anybody who's going through the process. Sometimes they will say this is only applicable to cases that were filed on or before or on or after X date, for example. So it will really depend on the policy change and also the policy change, what phase of the case that it impacted. So it is possible that, with the change of president, like I've talked about before, that can impact the policies. But it's important to remember that a president cannot change the written laws, the Immigration and Nationality Act laws that outline who is eligible for a spouse visa or a fiance visa. But yeah, like so many things in immigration, it will really just depend. But rest assured, whatever happens, we at Immigration for Couples, our team is not going to stop fighting. If they ask for more, if there's more hoops to jump through, like I say all the time, we are expert hoop jumpers here at Immigration for Couples, and we won't give up fighting for all of you and helping you to get to the finish line. So, the good question. Um, Yeah, and this is a really good question. And so you're going to Ukraine for first meeting next month. That's really exciting. That's a really big, a really big next step. So any advice on what to document to prove your relationship? So now is a really good time. We start the process with a lot of couples before their first trip, and we start getting everything around and working on preparing the application and guiding you on what evidence will be needed for that, for that trip. In general, having documenting the proof of your flight, You need any reservations you make, of course, take photos. That's going to be really important. Any activities that you do together, all of that will be very helpful evidence. And so, if you are wanting to speak about, like I've said to others, I'm always happy to speak with you in private about your case, and you're welcome to schedule. And I can talk with you both on Zoom, so you can be as prepared as possible for that trip. But that's exciting. That's really great. The big next step. Okay. I do need to jet. I'm looking at the time here. I just want to just check on okay, on everyone on Instagram here. All right. We have a lot of really good questions like always. You're very welcome, Wilfredo. I always try my best to get to all of them, but um yep, and I got yours, Rusty. Good. I got your question. I saw that you said pick me. So good. I got your question. That's great. Good morning, Anna. All right. Good morning, Clarissa. It's great to see you. All right. I just want to make sure. Good morning to you as well, Maria. All right. These are really, yeah, I know that some people wrote their question multiple times. I wish I could get to everybody's questions. I did my best. I will make videos on the other questions that you ask. If not, I will be here next week, next Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern time. If you jump in and ask your question first, I can get to it next week. But thank you all for being here. Have a fantastic week. Best of luck with your cases. Please take care of yourselves. Practice mindfulness, go on walks, do whatever helps you recharge and feel grounded, but do take care of yourself and each other through this process. Check out the free resource center at immigrationforcouples.com. Have a wonderful week. I'll see you all next week. Take care, everyone. Bye.